This is a game that I definitely have circled, and I'm going to be very, very intrigued to watch. The Philadelphia Eagles are sitting at 9-2 on the season, firmly in second place in the NFC playoff race, deemed as one of the hottest teams in the NFL and number one in my NFL power rankings. The Ravens are coming off a huge Monday Night Football win over the LA Chargers, keeping the divisional championship alive, and as they are sitting at 8-4 on the season. The Ravens are favored in this game by a 58% chance to win this game per ESPN. Lamar Jackson is 23-1 versus NFC teams so far this season. Spoiler alert, the Eagles are an NFC team. Mark, this is another game. I'm kind of going back and forth. I don't know who to pick. How can the Eagles hand Lamar Jackson his fifth loss of the season and his second loss to an NFC team?
Well, first off, why is Baltimore favored? Just because he has a really good record against the NFC?
I believe it's
So
because
is
it's
that
home
why
game.
they're immediately just gonna give him that score line? I don't buy it, because Philly has a really good defense, and I think a lot of the times they always say that, oh, these NFC teams, they don't see him a lot. They don't see types of quarterbacks like that. You know what? But the Eagles, they have one in their backyard. Jalen Hurts can run the ball just as well as, I wouldn't say just as fast as Lamar, but he can run the ball. He's pretty elusive. So they see it all the time. I feel like their defense might have a step up compared to most of these other NFC teams that have faced Lamar. So, and like I said, I've been high on the Eagles. They have been hot as of late. I still see them continue to be hot, and I think they're going to win. I think they're going to beat Lamar, because Lamar and the Ravens, they did beat the Chargers, but it wasn't like a fantastic win. You know, like I feel like they're not going to be that tough team that everybody thinks. They do have Henry, they do have Lamar, but I just feel like Philly has such a stacked roster. They're going to be able to compete with that.
Yeah, and just to add to your point there, Mark, Ravens do have the top offense in the NFL. Philadelphia Eagles are ranked fourth. However, the Eagles have the best defense in the NFL. Ravens are ranked 25th. Hoffy, do you think Lamar Jackson is going to go 24-1 versus NFC teams? How can he do that?
I will say I do kind of agree with Mark as far as both offenses have a solid 1-2 punch in their quarterback, running back, and being dual threats, or at least their quarterbacks being dual threats. So I do really think that this is going to come down to, both of these defenses face the same offense in practice. So I can see that this, both defenses kind of knowing what to do and canceling out each other's offense. However, that said, the Eagles have a better defense than the Ravens. So I think the upper hand does go to the Eagles in this. But that said, the Eagles have never come into, into Baltimore Stadium and beat Baltimore in Baltimore. And Lamar Jackson's only loss in the NFC was to the Giants, and it was an away game. Spoiler alert, this is a home game. And in those games versus the NFC, Lamar Jackson has a 10-1 touchdown to interception ratio. So I just think that, everything is in favor of Lamar Jackson going to, be 24-1 now.
All righty, guys. So the question is, who is going to win this game, the Eagles or the Ravens? I have legitimately been going back and forth, and I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to come out on top of this game because of Derrick Henry. It will come down to Saquon versus Derrick Henry, and the Baltimore Ravens have 4 losses this season when Derrick Henry touches the ball twice or less in the fourth quarter. He is going to touch the ball in the fourth quarter. He's going to touch it 10 or 12 or 13 times. He's going to run the ball. Ravens win this game by 4 points. Mark, who do you got and why?
I'm going Philly. I think the opposite. I think the defense that Philly has is going to shut down the Ravens more than the Ravens defense is going to shut down Philly. I just, like Hoff was just saying, they have the same kind of 1-2 punch. And I think Saquon isn't playing at a elite level. I think Derrick Henry has also. But I just feel like Saquon, this is a special year for him, special year for the Philly. Like, I've been high on Philly. I'm not totally that high on Lamar. He, like we've said many, many times, he hasn't done it in the playoffs. Like, I just don't. He might win this game, but I feel like Philly's going to battle him.
Yeah, like I was just going to say this is a regular season game, and it is still, actually, it will be December. So this when Lamar Jackson play does start to go downhill is in December and January. But Hoffy, who do you got winning this game and why?
I'm going with Baltimore, and I think, It's hard. I'm hard pressed to go with Baltimore, but I think that Baltimore needs this game in order to keep pace with the Steelers. They're one game behind the Steelers, and the Steelers own the advantage right now, being that they beat the Ravens head to head. So I think the Ravens need this game more than the Philadelphia Eagles do. I could see the Eagles kind of coming in and just laying an egg. So I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens.
Interesting. So we are both kind of on the same page, Hoffy and Mark. You are still high on your Eagles, and I legit could go either way. I might change my mind in the morning. I haven't decided yet. So Laura says Eagles will soar in this one. Pukey face, unfortunately. Laura does not like the Eagles, but she's picking against her gut. I like it. John says Ravens win. Need to shut down the Eagles down, smack them back down to where the season started. This is John speaking as a Detroit Lions fan because he is scared of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how I got it, right, guys?
But have the Ravens done that? Has the Ravens defense done that to anybody this year? They haven't.
To your Denver Broncos a couple weeks ago, 41-10.
I'm talking about the defense. The defense really. We still scored 21 on them. Like, that's not a great defense.
Wasn't it 41-10?
Whatever. I'm just saying their defense sucks.
They're not very good. Derek says, who wins the running game? So it comes down to a two-headed punch, right? Because the Ravens got Justice Hill. I think he is back healthy, and Derek Henry versus Saquon Barkley or Gainwell. Honestly, I would probably take Saquon over Derrick Henry right now, but I still think the Ravens win. John says Lamar wins this game. Not wrong. Go ahead.
I mean, you talked about shutting down Baltimore. They shut down Buffalo. They only gave up 10 points to Buffalo.
Yeah, well, that was when the Buffalo Bills were kind of like reeling. They're like, we don't know what to do, and then they got a hell of a lot better.
Pittsburgh, they only gave up 18 points. Denver Broncos, they absolutely annihilated.
Yeah, dominated.
And Washington Commanders.
They've had a few good games, but I'm saying overall their defense sucks.
They also beat Washington Commanders when the Washington Commanders, were all the hype.
They're 5 or 6 in a row, right?
Yeah. So and they were 30 and they beat them 30-23. So they've had flashes, but they got to put a whole 60 minutes together. And why not start with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Exactly. They will definitely need it against the Eagles. Philly's defense and Ravens won't stop Saquon. This is MVP game for King Henry. So John, every other word contradicted of what he just said. So he said Philly's defense and Ravens won't stop Saquon. This is MVP game King Henry. What?
No, he's basically. I think he said Philly's defense is going to be good, and then Ravens won't stop.
Okay.
I think, if I read that right.
Derrick Henry plays for Baltimore.
Don't try and read. You'll hurt yourself, Mark.
John.
Hey, Offie, I got something in my eye, bro.
Sorry, bud. I don't know what you're saying there, John. Jim says, does Derrick Henry have the wheels to go like he will have to? When Lamar is told to stay pocket, the team doesn't fare well, and what happens at some point every year.
Yeah, but he hasn't had a Derrick Henry, so he's had to be the legs and the arm.
Basically, Jim is trying to say that when the playoffs start, the Baltimore Ravens forget they have running backs, and Lamar Jackson is the running back and the quarterback, and they throw for 50 times and they lose the game.
I don't think you can forget that you got a 6'5", 250-pound.
They've done it 4 times this year, Hoffy.
Don't worry, they're saving them for the playoffs.
Okay. John is
I'm kind
picking.
of worried about that, to be honest with you.
John is picking the Eagles. Kevin says the game could go either way, but the Ravens take it. And John says he is scared of the Philadelphia Eagles. He is scared. Jameson says the Falcons, Bengals, Vikings, Colts, Jets, Commanders, Texans, Saints, Buccaneers, Ravens, Bills, Broncos all win. Got it. Mark it down. John says Ravens defense is solid. Defensively taken down, the better team will have faced. And exactly, Mark. You guys are on the same high wavelength, but whatever. You guys got it. All right, moving on to the next team here. Moving on. We do have the Arizona Cardinals taking